Asian Network. It's your voice. Use it.
Thanks to Rosie and the Asian Network Reports team. Good afternoon. It's 1 o'clock. Welcome to the Asian Network Phone-In with me, Naresh Puri. Today we're asking, does racist abuse in reality TV shows reflect British society? I know it's not as popular as it used to be, but have you been watching Big Brother? Yet again, there's been another Asian being abused, and it's attracted over 1,000 complaints to Ofcom. Deana Uppal is a current Miss India UK and a contestant in this year's Big Brother. Yesterday, Labour MP Keith Faz brought up her bullying in the House of Commons and mentioned other incidents which have been perceived as racist. One contestant has launched a constant tirade of insults against Deana, and when she objected, another contestant accused her of playing the race card. What do you think when you hear stories like this? Does this reflect the way British society really is? When a large part of British TV portrays ethnic minorities as teachers, doctors and senior policemen, is it a wake-up call for British society to see the everyday reality of Asians suffering because of the colour of their skin? Or does it upset you to see an Asian being bullied on TV? Do you think that this sort of behaviour encourages racism on the street? How do you feel about the fact Deana was accused of playing the race card? Is that what happens when you complain about racism? Do you know Asians who have played the race card? Is it time they were confronted over it?
Call 08459 440 445.
Gos Gosal was on Big Brother a few years back. Good afternoon to you.
Hello, mate. You all right?
I'm very well indeed, thank you. Gos, can I ask you, this latest incident, does it upset you?
Do you know what? Not really, no. And the reason for this is because I'm not watching it, so I don't really know what's going on. And two, I sometimes do believe that it does get blown out of proportion sometimes, this sort of stuff, because she is the only Asian on that show, and all right, maybe she is being picked on, and this person that's picking on her, you know, maybe isn't the cleverest person in the world. So maybe the way this person's been brought up, you know, he doesn't know, you know, right from right or, you know, wrong from wrong because, you know, he probably hasn't got that sort of understanding. And, you know, I do believe that sometimes it can be, you know, a little bit bigger than what it is. And to be honest with you, maybe the people behind Big Brother at the moment are loving this because obviously it's bringing attention to the show, isn't it? And man, who watches Channel 5? Let's be honest here. Who watches Channel 5? Do you?
Right, okay. But, you know, the thing is, Goss, I'll tell you, stay with me for a second, because we have actually got Keith Faz who joins us now. Mr. Vaz, just tell me, why exactly are you so angry about what's happened?
Well, I'm concerned because this particular programme has history. We can all remember what happened to Shilpa Shetty when she was on the programme, the concerns and the worries of people who watched this programme. And it's all happening again. And it seems to be an attempt by the programme organisers to let this kind of way of dealing with people run as if it's actually acceptable and good television. But racism is never good television. And we need to be very careful that we do not allow these reality shows to somehow take the place of reality. Because if this was reality, as you know, people would be very, very upset about it.
Mr. Vaz, can I say this to you?
In terms of the criminal law, we're currently going through the trial of John Terry. The verdict is coming out today. Outside the Big Brother house, which is where the rest of the world lives, you can't get away with doing this kind of activity.
Some people would argue, Mr. Vaz, that it's about time that white British society had a wake-up call. This is what Asian and black people face every day. People in Dorset and Devon and Cornwall don't really know what's happening to us Asians. This is what's happening.
Well, that's all very well, but the point is we need to be in a position to ensure that this is not acceptable behaviour. And if people are getting away with doing it in other parts of the country outside Planet Big Brother, they will face the full fury of the law. But this is not happening because it's in a controlled environment. So people might think this is acceptable just because the subjects of these attacks defend themselves is not sufficient. And because Big Brother itself is not saying anything about it.
Mr. Vaz, a lot of people would argue that do people, really face, racists actually face the full fury of the law, that people just really, generally get on with it. They take abuse in the street, they don't report it, they just get on with it.
There are two things there. First of all, that's because they don't know they can report it. And if they do, then, of course, people will be subject to legal proceedings. But secondly, if people say things and nobody responds, then it becomes acceptable. And it's not acceptable to behave in this way. It's not acceptable for victims to be left to deal with these issues on their own. And I think the way in which it has been allowed to run is so similar to what happened when Shilpa Shetty was in the same position, which is that the people who produce this program think it's good television. They just want people to talk about it because they'll get more viewers. And I think that's not acceptable. When you've got the kind of complaints that we've had about this program, something has to be done.
Mr. Vaz, you've spoken about it in the House of Commons. You've raised this issue. Apart from speaking about it, what will you be doing about it? You're obviously very angry. There must be further steps that you're taking.
I'm going to write today to Ofcom, which is the regulator, to ask them what they're going to do about Channel 5 and Big Brother, because I think it is important that something is done about it. It just simply cannot be left.
What would you like to be done to Channel 5 about...
Well, what I'd like to... Of course, they will claim that this is a programme that has been made by others and it's been commissioned out. They need to take effective steps to stop this happening. That's what it comes down to. And whether it is intervention in the House, whether it is removing those responsible from the House so that they are punished for what they're doing verbally, then that's what has to happen. But you just simply cannot allow people to get away with saying these things. Otherwise, there is no decency and there's no honour left in society.
Keith Vaz, thank you very much indeed for sparing the time to talk to us. I appreciate that. OK, let's cross to Mohammed, who's over in Birmingham. Mohammed, good afternoon to you.
Hello, good afternoon, Naresh. How are you?
I'm very well indeed, thank you, Mohammed. Mohammed, can I say to you one thing? If you're walking the streets of, let's say, Balsall Heath, OK, this afternoon, and somebody calls you the P word this afternoon, Mrs. Walker is saying, just take it, mate. Just walk down the street. Are you prepared to take it, Mohammed?
No, I wouldn't take it. I would sort of confront the person and things, but, why should I take it? Because I'm British born, so I've got the same rights as the other person who's calling me names. So, but Naresh, I've been watching Big Brother really closely, every episode, every night, and I feel so sorry for that Deana in the house. Sometimes I feel that I just want to go and rescue her because no one stands up for her. And the Connor is such a nasty person. And, he hasn't used any racist remarks, but because he can't, because if he does, he's going to get evicted. So he's using other tactics of, bullying and things. So,
Mohammed, is it bullying or is it racism?
No. I think it is a form of racism, but the reason it's not shown, on the television, he doesn't say anything racist because he can't, because he knows that he's going to get evicted straight away. So he's using other tactics of like bullying and name making. I mean, yesterday's episode, there was no need of anything, and Deana was not even in that room, and he was just carrying on with other housemates, swearing at her, calling her names with a big microphone and things, and that for no reason and things. And I think Deana's like, a really strong person, and she's kept calm in that house.
Right.
I blame Channel 5 for not taking anything, seriously, or not taking any action against Connor. But he's just and I hope he gets evicted tonight.
Right, Mohammed. I've probably seen about little bits and bobs of this latest Big Brother, but I have watched quite a few of them over the years, and I did watch Shilpa there,
yeah.
And I remember what happened to her, and I saw every moment of that. And I, as a guy born and brought up in West London who faced racist abuse when I was growing up and, absolutely hated it, but I was absolutely gutted and so upset to see what happened to that woman, to actually watch it and to see people bullying her. It was, and nothing happening. And I was like you want to grab hold of her and say, listen, pull her out of there, pull her out.
That's it, yeah. And when I saw Shilpa, Shilpa was a graceful woman, and she stood up and she was calm. Exactly the same situation as Deana. She's really calm. She hasn't said any nasty words, no swearing. Even when she's talking, when Connor's not there, when she's talking to the housemaid, she's not swearing or calling him names, and she's just saying, "I don't know what his problem is. I haven't done anything to him, and I don't know why he's nasty and things." And and I thought maybe Connor was maybe just a one episode, but when you look at when I've been watching the program each day, each night, it's every day that guy's picking on that woman, and it's poor, and I can't understand why Big Brother hasn't done anything, or has intervened to I know that they gave him a warning, but that's it, just a warning, and I thought he would have been evicted, but.
Okay.
I don't know if Big Brother are doing it for the ratings or what. So
ratings. Mohammed,
it's all about the ratings. Seriously, it's got to be, because at the end of the day, they know switching these channels. Obviously, it is really hard to get a program like that going on another new channel. So they need some sort of drama going on, and the drama at the moment seems to be that this boy is picking on this girl. All right, from what I've just heard, he's not saying using any sort of P words or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it seems to be it's more bullying than it is racism by the sound of things at the moment. And yeah, he should be pulled up on that straight away. He should have done it.
Definitely, yeah. And it's not even Deana. The other guy in there, Adam, the black guy. When Caroline said something about him, which was out of proportion, she didn't get warned about it.
And that was perceived. I've read some stories, about what was said about this guy Adam, who's a black housemate, and that obviously everybody perceives that as being very, very, very racist.
Very racist. And I mean, when I watched, I'll go bloody, she hasn't, Big Brother hasn't intervened or anything. They just gave her a warning. And for that, I think she should have been evicted. But the black guy and Deana, just I don't know if they, Connor or Caroline are just, come from where there's no Asian background or anything, or they've never been.
But never an excuse, is it? We all know that these things are unacceptable. Mohammed, Zaf and Goss, stay with me. Guys, I know you have an opinion on this. We're talking about racism, abuse. Should we just accept there will always be racism here in the UK? Are we Asians overplaying racism? Have you suffered abuse at the hands of racists? Call 08 459 440 445. Email nahal@bbc.co.uk. Text 81869.